everybody, this is Lauren Stein over at Alterity. Today we're going to be going over multiple currencies. We'll start out by going over the initial requirements. Multiple currencies is actually a standard feature in ACCTivate. Once it's enabled in QuickBooks, you simply run a synchronization with ACCTivate to bring over those new changes. This is actually available for US and all international editions. QuickBooks, however, does have minimum version requirements. As you can see here, QuickBooks US 2009 and Enterprise 9.0, QuickBooks UK 2010, and QuickBooks Canada 2010 Enterprise 10. To enable multiple currencies in QuickBooks, you do so in the Edit Preferences screen. You'll select Multiple Currencies, Company Preferences, and then yes, I use more than one currency. Once you've selected this yes, I use more than one currency option, you will need to decide which is your home currency. In our example, the US dollar is going to be our home currency for all the transactions. When you click this, you'll get a little warning on the screen about turning on multiple currencies. So one point that's very important is to always make a backup before changing any company-wide preferences. Also take note that you cannot turn off multiple currencies once this option is turned on. So when you're ready, you click yes, and then you go ahead and run that sync with ACCTivate. So let's talk about home currency a little bit. Your home currency is going to show on most accounts and reports. Some accounts that show in the alternate currency will be your currency-specific accounts payable as well as the accounts receivable accounts. QuickBooks will create these by default when you have created a customer or a vendor utilizing another currency. Also keep in mind that the inventory asset value, income, and cost of goods sold accounts will report in your home currency. This means that all product sales reports and inventory reports will be showing in your home currency rather than the currency that the vendor or customer is utilizing. Our standard reports have built-in formulas to print the currency codes. If you have turned this feature on in QuickBooks and synchronized it to ACCTivate, there is no need for further report customizations. Okay, about the foreign currencies, QuickBooks has over 150 currency codes currently. It's a very vast list. I'm sure that everything that you need will be there. They follow the ISO 4217 standards of showing the country code followed by the first letter of the currency itself. This removes any ambiguity from using the currency symbols because, as we all know, those can be ambiguous at times. The rates themselves are downloaded in QuickBooks from Wall Street On Demand. Users will need to grab the current exchange rates periodically. These rates are updated in real time between the hours of 00 to 21:55 GMT. If your customer utilizes euros, for example, and our home currency is US dollar, again, there won't be any necessary customizations for the sales forms because those standard forms come pre-filled with formulas which account for those multiple currencies. The same goes for vendors utilizing other currencies. The PO and receipt forms account for this alternate currency. There's not really any need for new customizations for any of the standard reports. Okay, this table shows which currency is utilized for each type of customer or sales transaction. As you can see, the sales quote, order, invoice, and associated accounts receivable will be sent via the customer's currency, while on the other hand, revenue, cost of goods sold, and the product list price are sent in the home currency. We do offer additional list prices, which can be set as an alternate currency price. Those will be sent to QuickBooks based on the customer currency. This is done because some businesses will include certain costs in the price of the items rather than attaching other charges onto the order to account for those. Also, the gain and loss on the exchange rate is calculated automatically in QuickBooks. We do not handle that calculation. For the purchasing vendor side of the transactions, the vendor purchase order, invoice, and accounts payable will all show as the vendor currency. The vendor pricing will also be shown in that vendor currency because that's what you're going to be paying with. The inventory asset and warehouse unit cost will reflect your home currency. The receipt transactions can be either home or vendor currency due to things like landed cost. You could be paying your vendor in their currency, but a shipping company in your home currency, and both will be shown on the item cost as the home currency. Some considerations when turning this feature on in QuickBooks are the home currency for existing records. If you have existing customers that need to use this new alternate currency, you will need to create a new customer record if there are already transactions for that specific customer. We can't change the existing records on the customer window to use that alternate currency. We don't have the previous currency exchange rates to do that either. So you'll need to copy that customer, rename the old one, close out the invoices, and make it inactive. Also change the name to be something slightly different, so that way when you create that new customer, they can have the original customer name as well as that new alternate currency branch. Okay, so a quick recap. To turn this feature on, you go to Edit, Preferences, Multiple Currencies, and then Company Preferences. I've already turned this feature on for time-saving purposes, but this is what it'll look like once you do have that turned on. And as you can see, the home currency is shown in bold here. Let's just click OK. And what you'll see here are the accounts payable accounts that are created. For instance, I created a vendor in Canada that uses the Canadian dollar. So we have this accounts payable -CAD. Also, you'll see that we have accounts receivable euro. That was also created by default from QuickBooks whenever I added a European customer that will be utilizing that currency. Okay, so in Activate, what you'll need to do is you'll need to make sure to set up a branch for each currency. That is a requirement in Activate, simply because that is how we track the accounts receivable per customer. So I've already added this European supply branch. As you can see, the currency is euro, and we're using the accounts receivable of euro. Also, let's take a look at the European customer that I've created. Be sure that when you create customers that you assign them to the proper currency branch. As you can see, he is on the euro branch. I've also gone ahead and assigned a default price code of D to help in this demo, because we're going to be using product A121. I have set up a European specific price, like I was talking about earlier, to account for, let's say, shipping in the item. And that's going to be $5 in euros. And as you can see, the US dollar price is $3.95. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the purchasing side first. So let's create a new PO. And we're going to order from Canada and sell to France. So as you can see, I've already synchronized the exchange rates, and it shows that it's 0.931068 US dollars equals 1 Canadian dollar. So let's go ahead and order 20. And as you can see, it shows the vendor price of $3, which was set up as a Canadian price, and then it shows you the Canadian dollar amount here. At the bottom of the screen, you can view totals in USD, so you can toggle back and forth. And it'll show you the $55.86 versus $60. All right, so let's go ahead and receive this item. We'll do it as of today. Also, take note, on all these screens you can refresh the currency rate based on the last synchronization. So if you see that nobody's refreshed that and you wanted to receive it at today's rate, you can just go ahead and click that and it'll refresh it as of today. Let's go ahead and post the inventory transaction. And you can see on the screen, this is our item cost in our home currency is $55.86, and the exchange rate cost is the $60. All right, let's see if the Canadian exchange rate has changed. And to do that, you go to Company, Manage Currency, and download latest exchange rates. We'll click OK. It's updated successfully. Let's run another sync. And I'm doing this because whenever you create that purchase invoice, ACCTivate is going to use the exchange rate at time of invoicing, because that is the exchange rate that your vendor is going to expect to see whenever you actually do pay them. So we're ready to invoice. We've received the items. Let's go ahead and see if it changed. It did change slightly. So you see that last two digits changed slightly. Let's make sure everything's good here. All right. Again, you can toggle between USD and Canadian dollars. So we'll go ahead and enter an invoice number. And when we click Create Invoice, we're going to get this message about the receipt cost being different than invoice cost. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click Yes, because this will actually update the receipt cost. So whenever we post this purchase invoice, the reconciliation with accrued purchase receipts will net at 0. So we'll go ahead and hit Yes, and then we'll mark the purchase order as complete. So let's go ahead and synchronize with QuickBooks again so you can see what that bill looks like in QuickBooks. All right, so now Canadian Products has this bill of $60. And we can go ahead and take a look at the balance sheet as well. Now, I do have a lot of testing information in here, so these numbers obviously are not reflective of an actual business. All right, so here it is, the 5587 that we saw earlier in that form when we did the inventory receipt. All right, we'll go ahead and minimize that. Now let's go ahead and check out what it looks like to sell these items. So we'll go ahead and create a new sales order for our European customer, which is French Enterprises. As you can see, the exchange rate is shown down here. And this will be true for any customer or vendor that you're ordering from that uses an alternate currency. So let's order 5 of these. Also take note that since they have this price code, they're pulling in the European price of $5. We'll go ahead and take a look at that again. $5 price. And the amount is shown in euros based on the exchange rate. And then again, here at the bottom, you can view totals in US, $33.99. All right, so let's go ahead and save. And then we will create the invoice. And we'll invoice it as a, we'll go ahead and keep it today since we don't know the exchange rate tomorrow. As you can see, it's all in euros right here. So the customer is only going to see their actual currency that they're going to expect. They're not going to see your currency. And again, with custom reporting, if you'd rather see the symbol, we can work with you, or y'all can work with one of our ACCTivate consultants to customize any of these reports. All right, so now that we've created this invoice, let's go ahead and run another sync. And then we can take a look at how this shows up in QuickBooks. All right, so now French Enterprises has a $25 accounts receivable invoice in QuickBooks, which is correct. All right, and then you'll see that the US amount is $33.99. And let's take another look at that balance sheet. All right, and we have this accounts receivable euro for $33.99. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and double check the inventory. As you can see, everything on here is going to be the home currency. You're not going to see an effect on the home currency for these screens for anything that's ordered from a European or Canadian vendor or whatever you're going to use. And then also you can see here that this is the Canadian price, and then this is the price in US dollars as of the last PO. So that's pretty much it for multiple currency. Of course, you can always learn more with QuickBooks themselves. You can go onto their help site and look up multiple currencies. Feel free to turn on multiple currencies in your demo company that comes with ACCTivate as well to see firsthand how everything flows. And also check out our help site if you have any questions or would like to post anything on our customer forums. So I hope you enjoyed this brief overview of multiple currencies, and have a great day.